Jim?
Thank you. I love this topic, and I've spoken to Jason a little bit, your keynote, before the conference began, and you're in for a real treat. The depth and breadth of this topic cannot be covered on this panel times 10, I think. I've got a little piece to share with you, and I think that we all come to these conferences, especially something like an SEO topic, looking for those 3 or 4 nuggets that we can take notes on and run back, apply those notes, and see our search engine rankings improve. I know I've done that for years, and some of them have worked, some of them have not worked. Many of them worked short term and then proved to bite me for having used them in the first place because they just weren't sustainable. I think the one thing that I would like you to take away is the good news is that search engine optimization is not complicated anymore. Unlike so many technologies and so many software innovations, the smart folks at Google and Yahoo and Bing and the entire industry have been working for 10, 12 years now to get better at finding your content. And I think the major takeaway, I think Danny covered it really well, was it's just a different channel and it's just a different method of storytelling. And for years, the search engine optimization specialist at your company was kind of this high priest, magic man, don't really know how he does what he does, but look, I'm first page on Google. I love that kid, right? That's not really what the SEO specialist at your company should be these days. They should be a specialist at understanding who your customers are, what they need from you, why they buy, and when they search, how are they searching for you? Not the terms that you would like to be found for, often filled with a lot of your terms that are used in your industry that may not be known to consumers, B2B or B2C, but rather do the deep research. Your search engine specialist should do the deep research with your strategy team, with your CEO, and understand the message that customers are looking for your companies for. What problem do you solve? How are they looking for it? And then become technically adept at distributing that content through any number of channels that are available to us now, social, search, and other, in a way that causes benefit to your brand and your visibility online and doesn't appear to be search engine trickery, which really did work and in some segments continues to work to this day. But the thing that you really need to understand about those tricks is they're just not sustainable, right? Your part-time or one person or two person if you're a big shop, smart person effort at outrunning the 10,000 PhDs at Google for any period of time is just not a good strategy. So the one takeaway before I jump into some of these stats and what we did is it's a whole lot simpler now and it blends into the rest of your communication strategies in a way that removes the trickery and guesswork and crossed fingers in a way that I think you'll appreciate quite a bit. Customer Link, we're in Roseville, we're 15 years old. We are in large part responsible for having more than 4,000 small, medium-sized business companies found online on a regular basis. And when we launched the online marketing platform for the company, the one thing that we knew that we could do very, very well for them was to collect content. And the way we chose to collect that content was in the form of consumer-generated content. We've got a pretty unique technology that allows our computers to speak to their computers, which house their CRM and customer records system, their transactional data systems. So on a nightly basis, we're able to pull back a lot of information about the customers, the transactions, and what actually happened to that business today. And automatically then solicit those customers for feedback in the form of reviews and rankings. And understanding that reviews and rankings are two separate things from a search engine standpoint, pretty important point. To date, I think we've collected over 500,000 reviews and rankings collectively for these different businesses. And what we've done is we've taken the rankings and reviews and we've turned around, repackaged those, and syndicated them back out to Facebook, to Twitter, to landing pages that are optimized. And that word optimized doesn't mean geared to attract and trick search engines. They're just putting the content in a form factor from an HTML standpoint that allows the search engines to do what they're trying to do in the first place, which is to just emulate human selective choice making. That's all Google's up to. They have computers without eyeballs that are trying to interpret a website in the way that you, as a consumer looking for that product or service, would make a valuation. Which one of these sites, based on the search term, my location, my past search preferences, the things I've clicked on in the past, my social graph, what have other friends of mine clicked on that are part of the Google Plus network? Most of us don't know for sure, but there's something like 200 different variables now that factor into a search engine results page. Who gets number one? 82% of those results change on a daily basis. This is not like buying a page in the yellow book. You know the price, you know your first page of your category, and you've got color, and it's going to be in that book until next year's book comes out. It's a very fluid, constantly changing environment, not to mention the fact that Google and the other search engines are constantly changing and adding to those algorithms. And I love saying that because I feel really smart when I use that word. The way that they balance check and evaluate your site compared to your competitor's site is in a constant state of flux and are constantly being considered more and more of those 200 points of information, way above and beyond the keyword and H1 tag and the photo tags that we were obsessed with in the past. Those I believe still factor in, but there's a universe of additional information. So be consistent with what you are publishing and know why you're publishing that. Know that your customers are searching for what you do in this way. So what we did was a little bit different. Again, we decided that the most valuable content that we could produce in a sustainable and what they call white hat search engine optimization way was the collection of user-generated content and put into place a policy that that content of those reviews would not be filtered, right? So 500,000 reviews later, we've published the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the search engine results that we've gained for our customers have been huge. Just on a publishing for one primary site page, our search engine business directory. We can't monitor the Facebook pages or the Twitter feeds in the same way we can the page that we control. Of course, everybody was afraid of bad reviews, right? You start to collect reviews in that volume with that kind of consistency, and especially the smaller, medium-sized businesses are very, very protective of the bad reviews. Google is super clear on this policy. Reviews are not valued if there is a sense, and however they make this mojo up, it's up to them. If there's a sense in their algorithm that they are edited or filtered reviews, reviews of all 5 stars on your site, contrary to popular belief, is not a good search engine marketing strategy. A mixed review of storytelling with a lot of people in your market, with reviews that are populated with keyword terms that really address what you do as a business and where you do it, sound strategy, you'll never go wrong. Turns out for us, and we are marketers for service industry businesses, which I think are probably more than many businesses apt to attract negative reviews. 96% of our reviews have been 5 stars or better. And then 14%, 4 stars, and 2% or less have been 3-star reviews. Now, in 500,000 reviews, that's still a lot of bad reviews, but the storytelling angle that was opened up for us by having those bad reviews published engaged the business in a way that allowed them to talk about the story, to make right the problem that drew the negative review in the first place. And what ended up happening was the creation of a content channel that was this ongoing, iterative storytelling that was completely packed with search engine keyword-friendly content, all within the local market that these businesses did business in, and backed up with actual consumer names that Google could verify were real people in the social graph from Facebook and Twitter and other feeds, Google+. The last piece are some of the stats that have happened, and a unique twist we did. I'm sure Greg will talk a lot about more of the detail of SEO application and some of the technical aspects of how to execute that. But one of the details that Danny talked about, we really blew out. So it's not just about the collection of the reviews and the collection of that feedback, but we wanted to understand for our small businesses what types of customers, who are reviewing me really well most often, Are there any sort of trends of types of customers, demographically speaking, geographically speaking, that are bagging on me with great consistency? I don't know how many of you use an NPS score or other consumer satisfaction index rating, but we found that the review collection content served two purposes. It was search engine gold because it was genuine, consumer-generated, keyword-rich content. But it also, for the first time for many of these smaller businesses, allowed them to understand who were their super fans and who were their super haters and do something about it. So we developed a system that will tell our folks how to understand who's reviewing them with what consistency from a demographic segment standpoint. We also, as a result of publishing these reviews out to these landing pages, just since October have generated over 90,000 leads for our small business customers. And guys, this is again not a very comprehensive content generation strategy. This is consumer-generated review content that's published with transparency and without editing. And we've generated over 90,000 page views to those landing pages that host those review content. No trickery. We're not smart enough to out-trick Google, just to publish it in a really clear and concise way. In a way, by the way, that Google will tell you and your website designers exactly what to do and exactly what not to do. Follow the rules, publish clean content, and if it is worthy of a consumer's attention, Google will value it. When Google rolled out Google+, they abandoned in large part their Google Local, Google Maps strategy, and that became kind of the center point for the Googleverse, right? We have found that organically, which again is non-paid for search engine visibility, that almost half of the pages that we've published with this review content have been indexed by Google+, ranked super highly, and then linked from Google+ as a credible resource for more information on this small business. Again, this is without a cent going to Google. A lot of painful pursuit and begging for attention, and finally getting the attention of a couple of Google product managers that helped us understand the world that we were playing in, and almost overnight found ourselves ranked and linked to in a way that we hadn't been able to earn in the past 6 months. But the point is that good content is what really is king, and I know that's an overused term, but content that is credible, well-researched for what your customers are looking for, and presented in a way that is not the way that SEO guys might have done 2 years ago. That's your only technical learning that you need to take away from this, is how to and where to publish that content. Last point, compliments from others weigh more than what you say about yourself. That's always been true. This really is not much more than a repackaging of word-of-mouth marketing, and doing it in a way that helps dumb computers be smart computers and produce relevant results to you based on your search history, location, background, and keywords that you've searched for. Dave Maring Carson, said something 10 years ago. I think he actually trademarked it. Just to be safe, I TM'd it there. The heart leads the head. The content needs to be contextually relevant to the searcher. It needs to be meaningful, and you need to have a strategy on the other side of that click, is that once you've done the good job of attracting that person into your content, knowing what you want them to do and having a clear path for them to do it. The devil's in the details. That last piece is that technical, how do I distribute this content? But really, the good news for all of this is it's not one step ahead trickery anymore. It fits into the rest of your media and communication strategy, and it really is just a rebundled word of mouth.